So I've gone through different periods of transformation at different points in my life, and there's always like 4 phases within the shift that I have to go through every single time I'm making a level up or a shift to the next kind of phase of my life. And I think sometimes we see advice and we see things that people are sharing, and we think it doesn't resonate with us because it's not in line with the phase that we're at the moment. So if somebody is in like phase 4 of their transformation, and they've shed a lot of their attachments, a lot of their past selves, the advice that they give won't resonate with you if you're in phase 1. Because how you feel and how you perceive things in phase 1 is very different to how you feel and how you perceive things in phase 4. And I personally have found so much frustration in, like, I feel like I'm getting towards it and I'll go back to phase 1, or I'm in phase 1 and I just want to be in phase 4. And I see other people giving advice in phase 4, and it's just not the advice that's going to work for me right now because I'm not in that phase. So knowing which phase you're in and having awareness that this is just a phase and it's part of the overall transformation cycle can help you have like patience and compassion for whatever stage you're at right now. This kind of came into my mind because I got not a skin peel, but basically a treatment which is going to cause my skin to peel off, and I was just thinking how like the first phase of transformation is always the shedding of the self, and it's always the really painful and volatile part because your new self is battling your old self, and you're kind of just addicted to your external circumstances. You're addicted to the story that you've been telling yourself, and really you're just trying to break that addiction by bringing in new habits, new beliefs, new routines. And the thing is, in phase 1, you're not going to actually have any faith in what you're doing yet, like at all. And you're still going to feel the same as you felt the whole time, but you're going to be doing the work regardless of not believing in it. And that's the big thing about phase 1. I think people in phase 1 see people in phase 4 who really believe in everything they're doing. Everything they touch turns to gold. They can manifest out of thin air. And you can get really frustrated if you are in phase 1 and you still feel very attached to your old life and your old beliefs, because you can't just take on that mindset yet. You haven't broken the addiction to your external circumstances, to the 3D. You haven't broken your addiction yet to the story that you've been telling yourself about your life. So phase 1 is not about, feeling like you can walk outside and manifest anything, that miracles are just coming to you. If you can jump straight from phase 1 to phase 4, that's amazing. But I certainly could not do that, and a lot of people can't do that because of these stories that we build up inside ourselves. Yeah, phase 1, you're doing the work and you still feel terrible. Like, you still feel like your old self, but you're doing the work in hopes that it's going to pay off. And this is the part where you really just have to like grit your teeth and just show up, even though you don't feel like it's making a difference. So even just something like meditating, when you start meditating, the first week or 2 weeks of meditation are probably just going to be uncomfortable, and you're not going to want to do it at all, and you're not going to really see much benefit. You might feel a little bit more relaxed, or you might just feel frustrated when you're meditating. But eventually, the consistency in showing up every single day, after even a week of that, you start to notice a difference. So that's when you move into phase 2. Phase 2 is you feel a little bit of a difference. You start to feel a little bit of momentum in the work that you're doing on yourself, but nothing has really changed yet still in your external environment. So you still have to have that little bit of grit and that kind of forcing yourself to do it, because your belief isn't 100% there that you're shifting reality or anything like that yet. You're still very much doubting whether it's going to work. You're not 100% on all your manifestations. You don't have that belief yet that it's going to happen for you. You still kind of have to force yourself to show up, but you will see hints of feeling better. You will start to internally feel a little bit of a shift. Then phase 3 really is when you start, it's like when you push through that barrier point of kind of forcing yourself to gain momentum. Phase 3 is really where you start to see the momentum and feel the momentum. So you might start to have synchronicities happen in phase 3. You will start enjoying your meditations, you start enjoying your journaling, you start to feel yourself coming into alignment. And literally the only way to get to phase 3 is to stay consistent in phase 1 and phase 2, however long it takes. So it could take you a week, it could take you a month, but the only thing you can do is just stay consistent and keep recommitting to your new beliefs and your new life. And then you will find yourself in phase 3. And phase 3 is where it gets easier. The weight of the past doesn't weigh on you as heavily as before, and you can start to feel your new life coming in. You'll start to see it a little bit in your reality, and you'll start to get actually excited for what's to come. So phase 1 and phase 2, you want to think like you're really shedding all your attachments to the past, all the stories you've been telling yourself. And as you're breaking all of these patterns, all of these thoughts from the past, you are going to feel resistance and you are going to feel pain. And all you have to do is just keep showing up, keep recommitting, and keep being consistent. Keep telling yourself that if you show up, it's going to pay off, because it will. So phase 3, you're kind of in the in-between, like you're not 100% in your manifestation yet, but you're getting little signs of it. You will have moments still of self-doubt. You will have moments where you default to old patterns. And I think a lot of people, especially I, used to get very, very stuck in phase 3, where I'd get glimpses of my manifestation. I'd get glimpses of the feeling states that I want to feel. And I would get really excited, but then something would kind of knock me back, or I would default to old patterns. I would waver in my belief, and it would just send me into a spiral of self-doubt, and I would fall back into phase 1 or phase 2. The only thing that you need to do to graduate from phase 3 to phase 4 is keep recommitting every time you feel yourself wavering or you feel yourself fall off. Remind yourself of where you're going. Remind yourself that the 3D circumstances are just temporary, and keep gathering evidence for your desire. Keep gathering evidence that your new reality is coming in, and reaffirm it as much as you can. Affirmations, journaling, whatever you can do to keep recommitting yourself to the path of your desire in phase 3 is going to get you up to phase 4 so much quicker. Once you hit phase 4, that is where the magic happens. That is where you literally feel untouchable, magical, aligned, invincible. Your vision is clear, your heart is open, everything is just lining up for you. You feel like you can speak it and it will appear. You're magnetic, and there is just no resistance anymore. Everywhere you go, you see proof that everything you want is running towards you. And this is such a magical, amazing state to be in. It's such a fun state to be in. And this is the part where you can really just play with life, and you can realize how much limits you've been putting on yourself, and that there are actually no limits in terms of what you want out of life. The only limits that exist are the ones that you have been placing on yourself. And the reason you can see that in phase 4 is because you've done the work to shed all of those, and now you can just create whatever you desire. You will have moments where you still waver, but you have so much evidence now in phase 4 that you can change your reality and you can get what you desire, that those moments that you waver, they don't take you over as much, because you have evidence that you can change it. You can get what you want, that this is just temporary, and that you can work through these moments of doubt and come out the other side and get what you want. When you're in phase 4, it's such a good time to literally shoot for the moon, ask for particular signs, enjoy that feeling of being connected, being aligned, and just embrace every single moment of it. Ask for what you want clearly, and just wait for it to appear. Just know that it's done, because in that stage, you can literally just command your reality to present you with whatever you want. And I think even still, when we're in phase 4, we still place limits on ourselves. We still have little itty bitty things that we need to shed. We're still within the confines of some of our limiting beliefs. So you may think, okay, I'm going to ask for a new car. But you forget to ask to get that car completely for free, to get the newest model of that car, whatever it is, to get it very soon, There's things that you might still be limiting yourself on that you don't need to limit yourself on when you're in phase 4, because you are aligned and you can really, really start to play with the universe and co-create whatever your heart desires. The universe won't put limits on anything unless you put limits on it. So just remember that. What has happened with me in my life is I will go through the phases. I'll get to phase 4 and I'll have specific desires and manifestations in my mind. And as I'm living those manifestations, I'm in phase 4, I'm loving it, I'm loving life, everything is just coming to me, rushing at me. I will then set my sights on something else, something, that's a next level, let's say. And what can happen then is I can go back into phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, because it's time to level up again and it's time to shed more of the self. But just remember, you're not crazy, you haven't fallen behind. You just have to go through this cycle again to get your manifestation again. All you have to do is trust the process. Trust that everything is happening as it should, that you are making progress even if you can't see it yet. And if you just keep recommitting, you will get there.